what happens when we don't have daily consistent devotions? The one thing that happens, they say if you don't use something for a while, right? If you don't use something for a while, the functionality of that thing, it just goes away. For example, if you have a leg and you can walk, everything is fine. You decide to sit down and never use your leg again. You decide you're never gonna walk. Next thing you know, you're gonna be in a wheelchair. Definitely. So one of the things about devotion, if when we don't have it, our growth stops. You get stunted spiritual growth. You cannot grow outside of Jesus. You cannot grow outside of his word, outside of having that intimacy with him. You can only go so far. Your prayer life begins to be weakened. Do you remember when you used to pray 3 hours a day, 1 hour every single day, 30 minutes at the same time? But now all of a sudden, to go to a 1 hour prayer meeting, it's like you spent 10 hours there. To pray for 5 minutes, it's like 5.5 turned to 50 minutes. That's what happened because we're not having consistent daily devotions. And also your faith begins to be weakened. It begins to be weakened. You're like, okay, what will be, will be. And I hate that phrase. What will be, will be. No, because everything is under our control. But you get to know all of that when you get to know him. Then you get more confidence, more faith, and so forth. And know that anything is possible. Then you also begin to lose direction and focus. You know, God is the one that made us. And as a manufacturer, he has a manual for you and I that tells us this and this and this. When a manufacturer makes a car, they tell you the very parts and directions and what to do and what not. When we don't come back to him as our manufacturer, we go off course, we lose focus, we lose direction, and then life begins to take us in any corner, any ways. But we shouldn't be like that. We are men and women that should walk in purpose, walk with him. You also begin to lack the power to overcome sin and temptation. When you're more with him, you're more sensitive to those things, so you're aware of them. But the more you start withdrawing from him, the more you stop spending time with him, it's easy to accommodate sin. It's easy to make excuses for sin. It's easy to make excuses. Oh, this happened because, oh, this happened. Oh, it's easier. So this is why we have to make sure we gain and stay focused and have that relationship with him. And of course, eventually we become carnal. We become unbelievers who think that we're Christians. Our lives become absolutely no different from any other person on the street. That's what happens when we don't have intimate relationship with Christ.